Aric's two subsequent attempts to regain the Riverlands failed, and a third attempt, under Aric's son, Arlen V, ended in Arlen's death. Arlen V's successor was his young son Argilac, later known as Argilac the Arrogant, who would be the last of the Storm Kings. As a boy, Argilac turned back an attempted Dornish invasion, and his reputation only grew from there. He joined an alliance with several of the free cities against Volantis, and killed King Garth VII Gardener at the Battle of Summerfield. His only heir at the time of the conquest was his daughter, Argella. The Kingdom of the Isles and the Rivers. Although the histories of Westeros seem certain that the Iron Islands were settled by the first men, the priests of the drowned god on the Iron Islands claim that the Ironborn are a people apart, created in the image of their god. Whatever the truth, the Iron Islands have a long history of maritime activity, fishing the rich waters, trading tin and iron ore, and sending reavers and pirates to pillage and make war on the Greenlands. The archipelago contains 31 islands, of which there are 7 major inhabited ones. Legends claim that the Grey King ruled the isles in the Age of Heroes, but any details of his reign are lost to the mists of time. What is more certain is that each isle had a Salt King and a Rock King, each elected to these offices, until the priest Gallon Whitestaff convinced the Ironborn to unify by electing a High King at the first ever Kingsmoot. The centuries-long era of these High Kings, called the Driftwood Kings for their wooden crowns, brought the Iron Islands to the apex of their power. During the reign of Cored the Cruel, the Ironborn held much of the western shore of Westeros under their dominion. These gains were slowly lost, however, especially after Euron Greyiron and his supporters slaughtered his rivals at the last Kingsmoot, establishing the first hereditary High Kingship. The turmoil that followed on the Iron Islands made it easier for the mainland kingdoms to drive out the Ironborn, until the great kingdom of the Isles and the Rivers was reduced once more to just the Iron Islands. It would take centuries, and House Hoare succeeding the Grey Irons as kings, for the Ironborn to begin to reclaim their lost ground in the Riverlands. Most notably, King Harwin Hoare, known as Hardhand, launched an invasion of the Riverlands, driving out the Storm Kings, who then controlled the Trident. Harwin's grandson, Harren the Black, would rule the united kingdom of the Isles and the Rivers until the Conquest, beggaring the Riverlords by erecting an enormous castle by the God's Eye. This castle, Harrenhal, took 40 years to complete, and the histories say that the massive fortress was finished on the very day that Aegon Targaryen and his sisters set foot on Westeros at the start of the Conquest. The Reach. The most fertile and populous region in the Seven Kingdoms, the Reach, is also one of the largest, though dwarfed by the size of the north. It dominates the southwestern portion of the continent, bordered by the foothills of the Westerlands to its north, the Red Mountains of Dorne to the south, and the marches of the Stormlands to the east. The Kingdom of the Reach claims an ancient connection to the first High King of all the First Men, Garth Greenhand. Powerful and potent, Garth allegedly fathered scores of children from whom many houses of the Reach claimed descent. The most notable of these was House Gardener, who established their seat at Highgarden beside the mighty river known as the Mander. Over the centuries, the Gardeners would expand their domain beyond the central plains of the Reach, stretching from the shores of the Sunset Sea in the west to the Stormlands in the east, and from the foothills of the Westerlands and the Black Water in the north to the Red Mountains of Dorne in the south. The Gardener kings ruled their green realm for millennia, weathering the arrival of the Andals by adopting their ways and making the Reach the birthplace of chivalry and knighthood in Westeros. Mern IX was the latest in a long line of kings, and one queen, to rule the Reach when the Targaryens first appeared in Westeros. The future of House Gardener seemed secure against this latest invasion, however,
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.